Okay, so this is setting up a prepaid sheet in Adaptive to charge the balance sheet when the expense happens. We got a list of expenses here from Andrew, so this will all hit operations. And then every month, I assume for 12 months for each one of these, we'll amortize a little piece of it, 1/12 of it against the expensed equipment account. So let's start with the sheet itself. I'm going to go to Admin, and I'm going to manage sheets on levels. I'm going to make us a new sheet, but this is going to be a modeled sheet. We're going to call it prepaid subs, prepaid subs, make it blank. It's a modeled sheet. I'm going to make it look just like his thing here. So we're going to need something called product. So I'm going to put a text field out here called product. And purpose. And vendor. I'm going to skip reseller though. I don't really care about that in our model. It's too much detail. Vendor. And then let's call this one cost. It's going to be a number field. Cost is a currency. And then maybe one more field right before cost for notes, because he does have some notes in there. And then all we need is a, you know what else we need? We're going to assume that these are all 12 months, but we should have a drop down that allows us to play with that. So I'll show you what I mean. First thing I'll do is I'll put a text selector, time span element at the end. And this will be called, let's call it time span. But we do need something like a text selector right before that, where we're going to just, for now, just give it one option. So let's call this, what do we call this, schedule or something like that. And this will be a 12, basically. It will default to 12. Whoops. Okay. So this text selector, now later we can come back and maybe we could add a 24 or a 6 or a 1. In fact, let's just do it while we're here. I'm going to add a 1. 1 would mean we amortize it in the very first month. 12 means we amortize it over 12 months. Let's do a 6, in case there's ever a 6. Maybe for now that's enough. But now what we do with the 1, the 6, and the 12 is we are going to use what's called a spread table. And I'll go into detail what this is, but I'll set it up first. So the spread is called amort spread. And basically this thing here is if it's a 1, I spread it over 1 month. Okay, so the lowest I can go is 2, but that's fine. 6 and 12. And then in month 1, it's going to be 1 over 1. And this is going to be 1 over 6. And this is going to be 1 over 12. So it really just kind of takes simple arithmetic here. 2, 3. And I go out over those 12 months. You'll notice the 6 month stops right there. And now let's look at this thing full screen here. So it's basically going to take that cost and spread it out with those things there. So I'm going to say OK, and let's save this guy. And let's go see what this guy looks like so far. It's taking its sweet time to save. Okay, there we go. So now, if I go home, at the very end out here, I don't see it yet. And that's because These ones are a little funny. These model sheets, you always have to go to I, say available everywhere. And now save it. It's like hidden until we do that. Now go back to sheets. And I bet you all the way at the end we have this new prepaid subs. I'm going to let you fill this data in later, but for us, I'm going to go down to like operations, which is where these things should be. And I'm going to add in our edit level, give myself a couple rows. I'm going to just say this is test product. Test, 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 test. It's going to cost $12,000. And the default schedule is going to be 12 months. And then we will buy this thing. Oh shoot, I gotta fix that. I like it to scroll and have like a fixed column there. But let's just pretend we buy this in fact, let's use one of his dates, 10/29. So October 13, I'd put a 1 right there. And then I would say this equals back. Okay, never mind. We'll come back and do that later. But let's save that. Boom, boom, boom. But let's go back and tweak that again because I want to freeze panes. And this is a cool trick too. I think I've showed you this. But if we go back to that eye and go to settings, you can set the number of columns to freeze. And I want to freeze all but the last one. And then I always click this one too. Allow editing in view roll-up mode. Makes it just a heck of a lot easier. Let's save it. Now refresh this guy. Cool, I've got my scroll bar. And for my view, this is too much data. So I'm gonna just look at 2013, 14, 15, 16 by month. Save that. So there's my one that would be buying. And I guess I could go out and I could put another one out here in October 14. I could keep going out and put another one in October 15. But now we need to give some logic to this, because right now if I go to row details on this one, it's really just going to show me the ones. There's a 1. Keep going out. There's a 1. But so we have to do something with those, like we do on the CapEx sheet. So what I'm going to say, the first thing is going to be the expense. I'm sorry, first one is going to be the cash hit. And that means when we pay for this in like October and November and December, this money actually is going out, which is the reason we want to do this. So I'm going to say cash hit. And the name is cash hit. And the cash hit is a simple one because it's really cost times the 1. So can I jump there? I can't go there yet. But basically I'm going to take that cost column and multiply it times the time span. That means where all those 1s are, it's going to now charge $12,000. Let's save that. And let's go back to prepaids and refresh, and I'll show you what this has done. If I right click on that row again, anywhere on the row, and say row details, now I've got a new thing there, which will be perfect. We're going to hit the balance sheet with that $12,000 right there, and every year thereafter. So that's done, but now we need to split up that 12,000, 1/12 per month for the expense side. This is kind of a cool thing in Adaptive too. I'm going to make a new calculated account called expense, because that is really what this side is. But now this is a new button I don't think you and I have ever used before. I'm going to use that spread table that we had built over here with this expense thing. So I'm basically going to say spread. What do I want to spread? I want to spread the cash hit over that amort spread table we built when we first started, and say okay. And let's save that. And let's go to prepaid subs and refresh. Right click on here and say row details. And this should work beautifully. Yeah, check that out. So now on that first one in October, we charge the balance sheet $12,000, and then we decrement $1,000 or 1/12 every single month. And I know I went kind of fast, but when you go back and look at this again, it's a really cool thing in Adaptive. So now we have this sheet. I don't really like the way it's located way over here at the end, so I'm going to kind of slide it in here into a more visible area. And since we're done with it, I'll just save it one last time and go to admin, manage my sheets. Then I just use these little arrows over here to move them up. It's kind of a old method of doing things, but it does work. Maybe I put it right before CapEx and right after consultants. Let's say done. Let's go check it out. Now it's right there, nice and visible. So what we do need to do is we need to populate this sheet with data, other than just my test data. But before we do that, we do need to link it to the P&L and to the balance sheet. So let's do the P&L first. I think we had said that we were going to do
6175, I think.
Yeah, I like that.
6710. 6710.
6710. Got it. Now there's already a formula here, so that's fine. So we're just going to add to the formula that's already here. Let's do it. I like to do it this way, just to right click on it, view by level. By the way, we're only doing this for the latest version of the plan. No need to go back and do this for prior versions.
Okay.
There's our formula. Now it looks to me like we used the formula builder to do this, which would have been the right way to do it. So I'm going to go actually use the formula tab to search for 6710. Yeah. So now I'm going to say select all. I want to append this formula here. I don't want to mess with that, so I'm going to wrap that one in parentheses. But then I'm going to add from our modeled sheet our new modeled sheet. I want to get the expense piece of it. Insert that, say OK, and save. And if we can go back and test that really quick, we should already see the extra $1,000 in there. I want to look at it from the top. Let's go back all the way to that 6710. I believe I'm already seeing it because I don't remember the number being that high, but we can drill into one. Let's explore cell. US. It would have been in ops. Yeah, operations only. Bam, there's that second half of that formula. You can see the first half is not doing anything. But when we pull in this second half, it's actually pulling that $1,000 a month in. So that's perfect. A little trickier one is the balance sheet. Let's roll it prepaid subs and see. Yes, we just do everything at the US level on the balance sheet, and that's right. So I'm going to pop that one open. We're kind of going to do it like we do the royalties, where we add the cost, or I'm sorry, we add the cash hit, and then we also add or take away the amortization. So we can do the same thing here. I'm going to write the formula right on this page. There's no need to use the formula bar because we're only putting this formula in one place. But the first thing I want to do is I want to add the modeled cash hit. So this will actually decrement cash, which is the whole reason we're doing this. But then I want to take away the expense piece every single month. And that actually is it. I'm going to copy that forward. And we should see this go up. What month did I? What month did I do that in? Oh, it was in October 2013. Huh.
Or was it 2014? I think maybe.
Oh, weird.
I
Oh,
don't
I
even
know
know.
why. I know why. I know why. I'm only at the US level. I wrote this formula only at the US level. But that prepaid sheet has that all the way down at the content level. So we're just going to add our famous little roll up equals yes to each one of these. And roll up equals yes. Boom, boom. Oop, I spelled that wrong. I copy that forward. That sure seems like I'm too big of a number. Oh no, I did 12,000, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
And then
cool. So then
just
the
going up down by 1,000 a
boom,
month.
boom, 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 until we get all the way out to here, and it gets jacked back up again. Boom, 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 boom. So that is great. I would call that complete. And all we really need to do now is put his data into here. And then later we might consider, I think the real department is this content one though. So I'll change that to there.
It's actually October 2013 that I put it in, right?
Yeah, but do
Or,
the
well, whatever the date is, but okay.
yeah, October
November.
2013. But you kind of always want to assume that they're always going to renew these things every year.
Oh, and then extend it out. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways to do the extension. The one I did was just manually, where I just scrolled right, and every October I dropped a 1 in there. But you can
Yeah.
also do this. I can say equals that way. And I say instead of time equals this minus 1, I say this minus 12. And then take away this split. And now formularically, no matter what, every year when this baby moves forward, we will always have this prepaid expense that gets amortized over a year. Sure enough, there's the formulated 1. So you can try using that formula if that helps you too. But that would conclude our prepaid subsheet. And then this is something that we actually eventually like to add to all of our models. But I want to teach you kind of in phase 2, whereas we just did one for software. But eventually this could be a prepaid sheet for anything. And we want to add a new column to define what type of prepaid it is. But for now, I think this is sufficient.
Okay.
And if you
All
want to,
right.
and if you want to populate it, go for it. And then remember to check your math and stuff. You can right click on any row and say row details, and you'll actually see kind of what's happening behind the scenes there for one of these
Okay.
things. And if I expand it, I think it does by month. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.